In this video, you're going to learn about the most important aspect of using a public cloud, which is shared responsibility. One of the biggest myths many people have is, if I'm going to use a cloud provider services, I can forget everything. The provider will take care of everything. Unfortunately, that is not true. When we talk about using a public cloud provider's services, please remember there are published SLAs that the cloud service provider has already published about each service from the perspective of the availability, security, manageability, etc. of the service per se. But at the end of the day, whether the application you have deployed or your data is available and secure is not only the cloud service provider's responsibility. It is a shared responsibility between the provider and the tenant. What do we mean by that? Though the cloud provider is going to have policies and features implemented to take care of availability and responsibility of taking care of the security, there would be certain things that the provider cannot take care, and it is the tenant or customer who has to take care of it. At the end of the day, the final responsibility of the data application availability is of the tenant. I'll give you a simple analogy to help you understand about this. I have already told you going cloud is similar to hiring a cab. Let's say you book an Uber such that you want to reach the airport, for example, at 5 p.m. today. And you know you will take an hour to reach the airport from your house, so you arrange for a pickup at 4 p.m. from your house. Now there are two possible situations that can happen as a result of this, which is, number one, you reach on time and there are no problems, or you did not reach on time. Now, why would you not reach on time? Maybe cab did not turn up, right? Uber is just an example. It could be any cab provider that you use. Or the cab came late, or you got stuck in traffic, or the cab broke down, or it is just that you got in, you went, but the cab driver drove very slow. There could be innumerable reasons as to why you didn't reach the airport. The underlying point I want to tell here is you missed your flight. Now, under such circumstances, can we go and sue the Uber or the cab provider as such? It's generally not the case. Finally, it is your responsibility as an individual to be at the airport at whatever time you need to be. And at the same time, please also remember, if Uber did it even once that the cab didn't turn up or something, you might switch over to another provider. And if Uber's cabs are doing it repeatedly with multiple customers, they will run out of business. Same way, when it comes to a cloud provider, the cloud provider is not responsible for your application being available entirely. There is a partial responsibility with the provider so that their services are up and running, etc. But at the same time, you need to understand, at the end of the day, your application is crucial for your business as an organization, and you need to have plans, strategies as to how you can recover if there is a failure of a service or if there is a failure of the cloud provider itself. You can go and look up for a case study called UniSuper, which is an Australian company, and what happened by mistake on Google Cloud. Look up for that. Also, recently, Microsoft Azure services were disrupted and there was havoc all over the world. Does it mean these cloud providers are bad? That's not what I'm saying. At the end of the day, as a business, don't get into a decision that if I use this cloud provider, my business, I don't need to bother about the IT. It doesn't work that way. At the end of the day, you need to take care of your application availability. That is why either a hybrid cloud strategy wherein with some on-premise and a cloud provider services, or the case of multi-cloud wherein as an organization you use maybe your on-premise infrastructure plus 2 or more cloud provider services wherein you might take care of disaster recovery, high availability of your application so that you are not fully dependent on one cloud provider becomes critical. At the end of the day, going the cloud way is not just an IT project. It involves various aspects of your business, including the internal departments, your customers, and your vendors. It's a complete change management project.